Well, some people keep wondering if I ever actually get out of my damn chair, if I'm actually physically here or not. Well, if I can physically hear still, somewhat. If I keep adjusting the damn chair, you know who the hell I am. Hey, Johnson, how you doing? That's been California. Yeah, I haven't lost my damn mind. I've lost the damn thing a long time ago. I never had it. 10:37 in the morning. It is the 30th of June. It is Tuesday. There was a Pandora's box opened. I call it Pandora's box because in Greek mythology, and I'm paraphrasing this story, so don't crucify me on this. But a lovely young lady hooked up with Hephaestus at this point over here, taking care of a box of man's ills, wills, and everything else hiding in the damn thing, and she is a curious creature. She was entrusted for the care of this box, but do not open under any circumstance. And what she do like a dumb, curious person? Doesn't listen, doesn't obey, doesn't wonder why. She's got to open the thing up, and it all breaks loose. She has to close the thing up to where hope's still alive. And it is the hope that's still alive in every one of us. Just every other ill in life at this point over here, not to mention secrets that the gods never want people to understand and control. And guess what? Man's already affected by it. They got the power of fire. They got the power of the atom bomb. They got the power of the universe in their hands, and they don't even realize it. They also have the power of religious belief. Strong belief in some things beyond themselves. Some people would call it fiction writing, and other people would call it a faith. Now, it's personal for everybody. Let's get this damn thing off. Look at the world through one version instead of my own eyes at this point over here. But these are eyes, but different prescription at this point over here, different viewpoint. Are you getting the idea? Because we come out looking at life through our own eyes without the assistance of anything else. So we have our own viewpoints. We can either have the tunnel vision, or else we can have a broader vision. However our peripheral is. And that is also how we interpret everything else in life at this point. If it's within the periphery, it's here. If it's not, we have to trust it's right behind us. Unless we have a mirror that's constantly looking behind us. Otherwise, how do we know it's behind us? Unless we actually look and see. But if we have a mirror or a camera, like I have, I can actually honestly see that there's something behind me here. It's solid. So that's the world we kind of live in at this point over here. I mean, we don't trust, we don't see it, we don't understand it. But we have to believe that it's still there and it's still existing. Much like the understanding about religion at this point over here. Religion and faith is sometimes synonymous and sometimes conflicting as hell. When people want you to understand their version of an all-powerful entity, whatever kind of names they call it, or it, them, she, it, whatever. There'll be skeptics, there'll be hardcore believers. And conflict always happens at this point over here because people don't understand or believe. There have been books written throughout the ages of man of how to believe in forces beyond your control. And understanding that these forces are there either as good, bad, or indifferent. We have the Holy Bible, for an example. Everyone's quoting for the Holy Bible these days. I mean, this day and age right now, everyone's trying to be Holy Bible experts. Quoting passages left and right. I've read portions of the Holy Bible growing up as a kid and as a young adult. I'm not very well familiar or well versed in every line of both the Old and New Testament. I will tell you that. I have read certain sections of the Bible. Certain sections of it stays with me. There had been pastors who had their own teleseries going on. Their own ministries. They would write books. They would get prophets. The prophets would either help their ministries or help themselves or both. But some of them would actually make sense of how to deal with situations, and they would base it off the Bible or maybe the Quran or something else. Sorry for opening up that book, that thing over here. I don't know if they do or not with the Quran. The Quran is a very holy sect. It is a very sacrosanct thing not to insult. It is something you don't want to go into unless you're Muslim, and then it's very, very holy, and this is something you don't talk about as much. But when it comes time for the Holy Bible, it's a different story altogether, because people are going, oh yeah, we're Christians over here, we're holy Christians over here, we're all believing in this thing over here. We can quote Bible backwards and forwards and everything else. Yeah, you notice what kind of language, what kind of dialect I'm using. Doesn't matter what kind of dialect you're using, as long as they keep hearing the same thing coming from other people left and right, saying, oh, you know the Bible from inside and out. Okay, fine, you know the verses, you know what the stories and everything else going on. Okay, fine. You had to commit it to memory, and you can try quoting it or misquoting it left and right. How is that going to help solve situations where you're trying to tell people you have to believe in this or believe in that? Well, it says so in the Bible. The Bible's truth. I shake my head at this point. The Bible is a collection of stories told, transferred from generation to generation to generation, until finally it was a way to put it down on parchment, and it was done in Greek and put it in Latin, and then translated into German, translated into English. There was a hell of a lot of translations lost somewhere in there when you're transferring from one language to another language, because words have different meanings, different emphasis. And every version keeps coming up with total revisions that you don't even know what the original was like in the first place. I don't. But it doesn't mean it could not have happened. Water, by the way. And no, it's not wine. We're recovering alcoholic. Tea. Black tea. Sugar, water. I wrote myself. I understand the composition of it. I understand how much sugar I put into it. I understand some of the nature of it. That means it's not a religion, it's fact. It's tasty, it's sweet. It's going to screw my damn blood sugar like hell, and there goes my type 2, going hell in a handbasket. But when it comes down for the Bible, of the good words coming in, sometimes I do need a little bit of a reference here and there of what's going on, because I need to find out if something matters the most, and I need to get a little bit of understanding and clarification of something. I mean, for me, the Bible is a good human reference material for how we're supposed to deal with people and situations at this point over here. There are other books that people have used for trying to deal with their own situations that have put them into different groups, programs, and they take from other sources to create their own reference material in order to help others to recover from situations they have been recovered. 12 steps like that. I don't knock it, because it's helped me out a great deal. But the thing is, you have to come to that point where you're at your wit's end. And you have to start reaching somewhere that point inside mentally and hopefully you call it spiritually. Just reaching out and say, look, if you're out there, force of the universe, whatever they call you, if you actually exist, help. Sometimes you're not quite sure what the answer will be. Other times, at least in my situation, I didn't have to come to that point. I didn't have that choice. I had heart surgery at the age of 40. I died 3 times and came back to life. So telling me that there isn't a force out there, I would laugh in your face, because I've been there and got turned around and told it's not time yet. You're just getting started. It's not time yet. You can't go home yet. I wanted to go home, but I was strongly encouraged to stay. And stay I am. Years later, I had to come to that point on my own. I was taught in religion classes. I was taught in church that there was a power. There was an entity. There was something there for me to reach out to. How about with my aunt? At one time. And I prayed. It's one thing when you're praying in a congregation and you don't know whether or not you're being listened to or not. But it's another thing when another person by himself, or probably with the help of a lay minister, will just get you to that point where you try to connect to that force, and then somehow that force connects with you, and then your whole reality changes. Different perspective, different glasses, and different viewpoints altogether. While the glasses are used for physical, they're also used as an allegory and a physics. Metaphor. Metaphor. Through our own eyes, my own world is clouded a bit and foggy and fuzzy. I can see general shapes. I can see some letterings left and right. I can barely see the lettering on the damn computer screen or even a television screen. But I know it's there because I can see the images, faded as they are, or just blurred like crazy. I can see myself from this distance to the computer. And I can barely see the countdown of the video going. I can barely see it's 13. If I squint my eyes, I can actually see it's about 13 minutes already elapsed already. Tinier lettering than that, I would have to get really close to look at it on my laptop. I could try looking at something in front of my face and try to see the details. If I get any closer like that, I am going to go crazy because I can't see it as much. But I could try seeing the general details, and I can tell you that I'm getting old man's hands on this, and I'm getting dirt in my nails. But if I happen to look even closer, the vision gets screwed up. So I know there's a limit. There's a limit of how much faith we have, and how much faith and trust we have that we're able to acknowledge at this point. I'm saying we're, I should be saying me. I'm using we're as a third person at this point. So we'll deal with that one. For some people, they also look at situations going on right now as a way to get people more and more into religion, because disaster is a good way of recruitment. You can't get people into religion if there's no disaster. You have to have people of faith to believe. I mean, you can do it one-on-one and talk to them about it. But unless they're having a national crisis or unless they're having a personal crisis, there's no way for a person to go beyond himself because he's at his comfort level. He's got to get out of his extreme comfort level, or she, to where they have to reach out for help. Now, I do not knock against religion. I do not knock against spirituality, because I know from personal experience, for me, they work. If you work at it, to constantly maintain that connection somehow, you're able to sense somewhat. It's an indescribable thing, because there's no way to describe that level of connection. Getting to the point where people are actually trying to cajole people into groups and saying you have to believe this because the end of the world is coming up and then things are going to happen and you have to believe now, otherwise you're going to be falling off the cliff. Well, if you're going to be falling off the cliff, you're going to be falling off the cliff because you're stupid enough to follow the crowd at this point over here. Now, if you were smart enough at that point and you actually had a bit of knowledge inside yourself that the instincts are to follow those who actually follow the religion that you feel comfortable with but hadn't been pushed into. That's the thing I can't stand on social media or in any other situations happening at this point, is that you got people standing on soapboxes and saying you have to believe in this, you have to believe, you have to. I keep looking at it as the board of Star Trek saying you will be assimilated or else we're going to be destroyed. I'm going to say, let me be destroyed then, because I am not going to be forced into someone else's delusion at this point. This is not delusion, this is fact. No. It's a delusion until it becomes a fact. And then you'll die, it's being too late. You've lost your faith. No, because if I have a faith of a different sort over here, that it's not going to be turning out that way, then I don't have to fear and panic. But I don't have to laugh my ass off and mock people for that either. Simply put, we all have our faith, we all have our beliefs in something greater than ourselves. We want that because we are not quite sure how to deal with our own world as it is. We need guidance, we need scruples, we need companionship. We also need someone to kick our ass every once in a while just to show us what direction we still need to go into. And I still need that kick in the ass. Being a prideful, ego, selfish, self-centered, prophetizing, private person I am sometimes. And I will get that way. I don't like listening to anybody else's sermons, because I don't like and I don't trust. I don't have faith. The only faith I had was what I've had originally, that there is a power greater than myself, in control, and I have to put everything else on the line of that one. I have to keep connecting to that and just understanding that, you know, there are forces beyond me that actually do have my best interest at heart. And if they do, and things are still happening random, then I'm going to have to say, deal with it, work with what you got, and just go through the damn thing. Things may work out, things may not work out. I don't know. I'm not going to start having freakouts about that. But the thing of it is, and I'm going to put my glasses back on here because I need to see real shit. There you go. With my own viewpoint right now, I have to look and focus on what's going on around me, because now with the glasses I can focus a lot more with clarity of what I'm seeing. Just the close-ups is going to be screwed up right now because of these things. But I can still be able to see details when I need to, a little farther away, and it still helps. But at least now I can see what's coming. At least now I can understand what's coming. At least now it's not faith. It's trust in something beyond. Because once I have the faith on my face and I'm able to see through it, I'm able to see what's going on at this point over here. I don't like people who keep saying that you have to follow this person, you have to follow that person, otherwise you're going to go to hell. The Bible thumping all the time. The fire and brimstone. I'm like, fine. If I'm hell-bent for fire and brimstone at this point over here, if there's maybe still some good left in the world, I'm still going to do it. And if I still get roasted in hell for it, be my guest. Because at least I know if I actually helped one person in this lifetime, in one crisis or another, or if I did some good, I'm not going to be looking for the reward at this point over here. I'll be looking for a satisfaction that at least it meant something to someone else, and if my life is sacrificed and my soul is sacrificed, okay, fine. At least tell me that my actions were of worth. At least tell me that the other person's fine, and I don't have to stress as much. So ends my sermon and my lecture at this point. So, have a good one.